The boxers have been given their instructions. The seconds are out. The crowd is ready for another edition of Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing with your presenter, the boxing historian, Greg Rashid.
Well, I want to say swaddy cup to everyone out there. This is Greg Rashid with another edition of the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And I'm so happy that you're tuning in today. And swaddy cup, by the way, means hello in Thai. If you're new to the program, I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, retired and enjoying the life here and enjoying doing these broadcasts. I have done so many and continue to do so many of the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcasts. But if you're new to the program, if you've never heard it before, what we do on here, we do fantasy fights, and if you're listening, you're a boxing fan, so I know sometimes you sit around imagining, what would happen if Mike Tyson fought Joe Louis? And what would happen if Muhammad Ali fought Anthony Joshua? I know you do that. So that's what we do in this program. And we use various computer simulations, sometimes card and dice games to simulate the fights. And today's fight is Tommy Morrison and Earnie Shavers, two heavy-hitting heavyweight fighters. And Tommy Morrison briefly became champion. Earnie never did, but Earnie is considered the hardest-hitting heavyweight ever. Just a great, two good fighters, and hope you enjoy the fight today. We're going to get right to it right now. But before we do that, I always ask folks, because I know you have a lot of things you can do as far as your money, excess money if you have it. But if you can, if you love the program, just devote $1 a month to this program by going to patreon.com. Look for Ringside Fantasy Fights and News. Ringside Fantasy Fights and News. And contribute $1, like some people have done so far. Our first Patreon was the great one and only our Red Sox fan, who has a wonderful YouTube site. Check it out. But if you can do $1 or so to keep the equipment running here, keep the improve the mic, whatever you can do, really greatly appreciate it. Because we're not getting money yet from the Saudis, but we're working on that. But anyway, we're going to get to the fight right now. And what we do also on this program, before we do our fantasy fights, we also talk about real boxing news. And also we do boxing history. And we do a little music at the end. And that's why I call this a boxing variety show. But let's right now get into the fight. And this is going to be in the heavyweight division. This is a 10-rounder. And it's going to be Earnie Shavers and Tommy Morrison. And our commentator is going to be the one and only King of Bubbly himself, Knockout Nigel.
Cheers. This is Knockout Nigel, your humble commentator, bringing you tonight's heavyweight clash between Earnie the Acorn Shavers and Tommy the Duke Morrison from Anfield in Liverpool. What a night we've got lined up, folks. Shavers, known as one of the hardest punchers to ever lace up the gloves, versus Morrison, a powerhouse with the heart of a lion. If you love boxing history, you'll know these two names echo through the halls of the sport. Now let's get to the action. And don't forget, Liverpool plays tomorrow. Up the Reds. Here we go, round one. Tommy Morrison is coming out, moving about the ring, trying to establish position early. You can see him looking to set up that big left hook. Now, Morrison clinches. The ref steps in. A bit of grappling early on. Morrison misses with a hook. He's looking a little too eager out there. Another miss with an uppercut from Morrison. This is turning into a chess match. Oh. Earnie Shavers lands a solid 2-point jab, keeping Morrison honest. Morrison's trying to move again, clinching. Stanley Christodoulou's warning them both for excessive holding. They've got to watch out for that. Shavers is in control now, but misses with an uppercut. Morrison counters with a three-point cross. Beautiful shot. He's bouncing around again, trying to stay light on his feet. Morrison lands another clean jab, and Shavers fires back with a two-point cross just before the bell. Morrison's got a nasty cut on his cheek. Things are heating up. Points scored in round 1, Shavers 4, Morrison 6. But it's still anyone's game. Nothing like a sip of bubbly during the break, folks. Crisp, refreshing, almost as satisfying as a Shavers knockout. Speaking of knockouts, my beloved Liverpool might knock someone out of the title race soon. Round 2, and you can feel the tension in the air. Shavers has switched it up. He's cutting off the ring now. He's pinned Morrison in the corner. Oh, and he lands a devastating cross. That's 5 points for Shavers, and Morrison's knees are buckling like an old deck chair. Shavers follows up with a brutal three-point combination. Tommy's in deep waters, folks, swimming against the current. Ernie's keeping the pressure on. He lands another clean combination. Morrison's in big trouble here, and there's another 5 points for Shavers. Tommy's looking shaky. There's a jab from Shavers. Morrison's trying to regain some control, but Shavers is relentless. A cross from Shavers. 4 points. That was like being hit by a freight train. Tommy Morrison looks stunned, folks. And there's the elbow. Oh, cheeky Shavers. He gets a warning, but he's not letting up. Another cross from Shavers. 5 points. Morrison's legs are gone. The man is a walking target at this point. Shavers is just picking him apart. Morrison's trying to move again, but he's got nothing left. Shavers lands a jab, misses with the next punch, but comes right back with a clean shot to end the round. Wait. Stanley Christodoulou steps in. It's over. He's called a halt at 2:58 of round 2. Earnie Shavers wins by technical knockout. That was a quick stoppage. You would think the ref would allow Morrison to at least go back to his stool, check out his condition, and decided if he can continue for round 3. I guess something in Morrison's eyes made the ref decide he was done for the night. A stoppage like that makes one wonder if the ref had a side bet. Be that as it may. Earnie Shavers does it again. What a performance. Tommy Morrison just couldn't handle that raw power. And there you have it, folks. Shavers' knockout legacy grows even bigger tonight. Speaking of bigger, how about another glass of bubbly to celebrate this victory? A toast to Shavers, and here's hoping Liverpool scores some knockout goals of their own next match. Up the Reds. I will now return you to our Bangkok studio. This is Knockout Nigel. Cheers.
And Knockout, you better quit talking about the refs there. We want to keep these shows. We don't want to cause any problems. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that fight. Quicker than I thought it would be. But I hope you enjoyed that Shavers beating Tommy Morrison. And what I didn't mention, that was simulated by Title Bout 2 PC game created by Jim Trunza. And by the way, I have a petition on change.org. Again, change.org to put Jim Trunza in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So check that out, or get in touch with me. Any platform that you listen to this program, those that always make comments, you know how to get me. If you want to sign that petition, because we want to get Jim Trunza in the International Boxing Hall of Fame to be an inductee in 2026. It's too late to get any inductees now, but 2026, that's what we're shooting for. So please support that. But I just want to thank all of you listening to the program thus far. And what we're going to do now, we're going to get into a little boxing birthday this week. And I'm taping this show on October the 14th. And on the 15th is a very important boxing birthday. I shouldn't say boxing birthday, actually a sports birthday, and Jessica will tell us about that. So let's hear that on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
This is Jessica, your martial arts champion. I would like to take a moment to recognize the birthday of a boxing legend, John Lawrence Sullivan, born on October 15, 1858, was known simply as John L. among his admirers, and dubbed the Boston Strong Boy by the press, was an Irish-American boxer recognized as the first lineal heavyweight champion of gloved boxing, de facto reigning from February 7, 1882 to 1892. He's also generally recognized as the last heavyweight champion of bare-knuckle boxing under the London prize ring rules, being the cultural icon of the late 19th century America, arguably the first boxing superstar and one of the world's highest-paid athletes of his era. Newspapers' coverage of his career, with latest accounts of his championship fights, often appeared in the headlines, and as cover stories gave birth for the sports journalism in the United States and set the pattern internationally for covering boxing events in media and photo documenting the prize fights. He died on February 2nd, 1918.
Thank you, Jessica, for that. And yeah, John L., I mean, I've read his bio. I've read some newspaper accounts of him. He created really the sports hero and what he did in the 19th century. And now, John L. also, he wouldn't fight any black fighters, but strangely, after he retired, he became a changed person, and he really was very, very humble and very just kind to Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion. Really, just thought highly of Jack Johnson, but he wouldn't fight any black fighters, but he's just, I have to just give him credit for just being a pioneer in boxing, what he did. And if you don't know much about him, there are a number of bios about him on there. But go, just Google online, look for John L. Sullivan and read about him. Fascinating figure. But we're going to get to some more news now. And I couldn't really talk about it on my last show because I hadn't seen it. But now that the Arturo Beterbiev Dmitriev Bivol fight has been done and Beterbiev won the fight, I can talk about it. And I have to look at it again, because it's very controversial. A lot of people think that Bivol won. And I was in that, group at first. But the more I think about it and looking at Bivol's face and the way that Beterbiev fights, I mean, he's good. I mean, I would have preferred to see this as a draw, but I'm not going to argue and say that Beterbiev lost this fight. I will say this, that I hope there is a rematch. I think the fans, everyone deserves a rematch, but Jessica's going to talk about that fight a little bit and some of the responses of that fight. So let's hear what she has to say.
Dmitry Bivol has already been told by His Excellency Turki Alalshikh that he wants to make a rematch with Artur Beterbiev next. Bivol says Turki told him that he thought he won the fight against IBF, WBC, and WBO light heavyweight champion Beterbiev, 21-0, 20 KOs, last Saturday night in their undisputed championship in Riyadh. Despite winning, Beterbiev isn't receiving much praise from fans and promoters. Even Turki is now saying that he thought he lost. Bivol's promoter, Eddie Hearn, was furious about Beterbiev's win, calling it a robbery, and saying the judge who scored it 116, 112 for him should never work another fight. Hearn says he had Bivol winning 8-4. Beterbiev showed excellent boxing skills against Bivol, making him miss a lot and picking the right spots to nail him with hard punches. Bivol did hit him with a lot of jabs, but only because he was throwing so many to keep him off. That was Bivol's main weapon. One person very happy with Bivol's loss was his ex-wife, Ekaterina Bivol. She had become unhappy with the boxer after reports that Bivol had domestically abused her. There were also suggestions that she wanted more child support than the $1,100 a month she was getting from him. Ekaterina will take it to court, but in the meantime, she celebrated Beterbiev's win. She exclaimed that karma caught up with him and seemed overjoyed by his loss.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, it's I hate to hear that about Bevel be allegedly be involved in domestic violence. Hope that all gets straightened out. But what do you think of that fight? Beterbiev and Bevel. Who do you think won? Let me know. But we're going to get to another news event by Jessica, and that was a great card that they had in Saudi Arabia over the weekend. But there was a weird fight involving Ben Whitaker that Jessica's going to talk about. So let's hear that on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
The following story comes from worldboxingnews.net. Ben Whitaker faced a severe barrage of questions over his integrity as the rising British star lost his perfect record in Saudi Arabia. The surgeon saw a draw ruled after tumbling over the top rope with his opponent Liam Cameron at Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. On his way back to the dressing room, Whitaker punched a hole in the wall as he vented his frustration over the matter. However, what transpired has since been picked apart into serious allegations. Not only are fans stating their belief that Whitaker took the easy way out, but boxing pundits watching and online also question the former Team GB member's integrity. In a new twist, there are also suggestions that Whitaker instigated the initial move. Video evidence seems to show Whitaker pulling Cameron's body toward him before they went over the ropes and out of the ring. Cameron, who thought he did enough to take the victory on the cards after 5 complete rounds, told UK boxing scribe Steve Bunce on TNT Sports what he heard from Whitaker's corner. His corner said stay down and pretend you're hurt, allegedly, claimed Cameron, before Bunce repeated the allegation. Fans' reactions to the incident included one detractor saying, "After watching the replay, my take on this is that Ben Whitaker purposely rolled over the ropes. His ankle didn't seem to touch anywhere that would cause the injury."
Well, we don't know what really happened, but it was kind of, you know what it reminded me of? Boxing historians may remember this, but middleweight great Pernell Whitaker had a fight where he went over the rope with his opponent, and he said that he busted his shoulder off. Now, it was kind of weird because he was actually losing the fight, and it was declared a non-contest, and they had to do it all over again. And the next time, Bernard Hopkins won that. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting what happened in that fight. But it just reminded me of that. But anyway, what do you think of that? You think, first of all, if you've ever been in a ring, in the ropes, the fall, unless you're in professional wrestling, you don't want to fall out of the ring like that. It hurts. It hurts. So I'm going to take Whitaker's word for it. He was losing that fight. I will say that. Cameron was coming on. And Whitaker, who usually, it's kind of, they're calling him like the new Prince Nassim. But he was, he fought straight this time. First time I seen him fight with no antics, no tricks, no clowning around. And Cameron was getting to him. So I hope they have a rematch. We'll see with that. But anyway, we got another story here with Jessica. And this one's with Sebastian Fedora. So let's hear that on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
This story is taken from worldboxingnews.net. Sebastian Fundora could be set to move from Terence Crawford to Errol Spence Jr. as the towering super welterweight edges closer to a landmark fight. Fundora has been making the boxing world sit up and take notice for years as he stopped Erickson Lubin in the 9th round of a Fight of the Year contender in 2022, lost to Brian Mendoza by knockout the following year, but then rebounded with another Fight of the Year contender in 2024, when he and Tim Tszyu shed blood, sweat, and tears. Speaking to World Boxing News at different times through the year, Fundora's promoter, Samson Lukowitz, said they would honor the WBO mandate, leaving the ball in Crawford's court. Crawford, though, appears hell-bent on a super fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez. This means that Fundora could revert to other viable challenges, as the 154-pound division is bustling with big names and deep talent. We asked Tim Tayu, who fights for the IBF Super Welterweight title Saturday against Bakram Murtazaliev, whether he'd box Fundora after the fight at Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida. Lukowicz has a handshake agreement with Tatsuyu's people about a rematch, for example. And considering the violence from the first fight and the disputed result, a second bout would likely be an easy sell. Spence hasn't boxed since suffering the first loss of his pro career in 2023 when he came unstuck against Crawford, who returned an all-time great performance at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. His bounce-back fight would by no means be a gimme, as Fundora, at 6'6", presents unique physical challenges for everybody at the weight, and he is building an impressive body of work as a headliner on the big stage. As far as time frame goes for a prospective Fundora versus Spence bout, it appears organizers are definitely looking at the first quarter of 2025, possibly March, the source finished.
And that fight will probably be in Texas, which is Earl Spence Jr.'s hometown. His home state. And I hope Fundora beats him. I just have a feeling he may beat him. I think they're trying to set this up, but I really think that Spence has lost a lot. And I got to say this. I thought 4 years ago, he was heading to the Boxing Hall of Fame. I mean, he was special. But something, I don't know, it was an auto accident, which I think was part of it. And then the beat down that Terrence Crawford did on him. But he's just not the same. He's just not the same. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that fight. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to a rematch with Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. I really want to see those two get it on. I'd rather see that before I see Fundora fight Spence. But we'll see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that news there from Jessica, your martial arts champion. And we still don't know what her belt is in, where she became the martial arts champion. We don't know, but that's what she keeps saying around here, and I ain't gonna mess with her because she might kick me in the head. But anyway, we're gonna get to some music now, and we're gonna do right now the bassist John Patanucci, and this is Layer Cake. So let's hear that on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And that was the instrumentalist, producer, just a superb entertainer, Otis McDonald, and that was We Cruisin'. I'm going to be cruising out here in a minute. And before that, we started off with the bassist, John Patanucci, and that was Layer Cake. Maybe I'll cruise over and give me a layer cake. But anyway, we're going to get ready to get out of here right now. Hope you enjoyed the show, and hope to have you back again. And just tell a friend to tune in to the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And remember, go to change.org, support getting Jim Trunza in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. But anyway, go in love and go in peace. Help someone along the way. And when you wake up in the morning, get up, look in that mirror, hug yourself, and say, I love myself. If you're sight impaired, get up, hug yourself, and say, I love myself. And just hug yourself all over. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't do anything. You can't love anyone because you don't love yourself. You don't even want to be around yourself. So love yourself first, and then go out in your community, wherever you are in this universe, and help someone, be it a senior, a young person, an animal that may be in need, whatever you can do to make it a better place. There's wars and rumors of wars out there, and do what you can to bring some positive energy where you are. Just a small little step you can do makes a big difference. So do what you can. So go in love and go in peace. This is Greg Rashid. Please tell someone about the show, and we want to see you here next time on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. Thanks so much for taking just a moment out of your day, just a little moment out of your day to join us on this program. You don't know how much it's greatly appreciated. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and have a great day.